These bad boys could do it, and they did it with style, and they did it often. They even tried launching aircraft of this type off of ships using a special hook arrangement where they could come along and they could trap on board any kind of ship that had been modified with the trapeze arrangement. We're going to let you listen to them as they go by.
Okay.
As you can see, they're not very fast. They're powered by small four-cylinder air-cooled engines. They're little flat pancake engines, we used to call them. They're now known as boxer engines. Up in our lead here in the L2M, we have Eric Gradilla. He's our team lead. Followed by Tom McIntyre. Fred Fidelaro just went by with his airplane. And here being tail end Charlie, this is Joe Melanchak. The advantages of these aircraft out in the field were numerous. They did a lot of covert stuff. They were also out there to help save lives as well. Believe it or not, helicopters did exist toward the end of World War II, but they weren't really as perfected as they are today. So in their place, we used L-birds. Now there's a guy out there who got a lot of notoriety as an L-bird pilot. And I'm talking about Bazooka Charlie. Many of you have heard the story before, but this man was definitely motivated. What he did was he took his L4 and he put 3 bazookas under each wing. Now the bazooka, for those of you who don't know, is an electrically fired weapon. It's got batteries in it, which works out really terrific because all you got to do is figure out a way to attach these things, and then you run the wiring into the cockpit, put a bunch of switches in there, and the next thing you know, you're packing. They call this airplane Rosie the Rocketeer.
Oh, jeez.
And his battlefield exploits won him a variety of nicknames. Bazooka Charlie was one, the Mad Major another, and of course, Lucky Carpenter. In 1944, he was a major, arrived in France where his assignment was flying basically an L4, a Piper Cub, on reconnaissance missions in front of the 4th Armored Division of General George Patton's 3rd Army. Well, ignoring regulations against arming the tiny airplanes, Major Carpenter put bazookas on it.
Oh boy.
And called his airplane Rosie the Rocketeer.
Ah!
The bazooka was actually a small RPG, a rocket-propelled grenade, very effective at taking out tanks. So he sets his airplane up with this, and what does he do? He starts attacking German armor. He starts going after tanks. Well, he was threatened with court-martial, but General Patton himself heard about this and said, wait a minute. This guy's showing motivation above and beyond. General Patton not only stopped the disciplinary proceedings, but he awarded Major Carpenter, Bazooka Charlie, with a medal for bravery. The Army newspaper, Stars and Stripes, featured him and his exploits several times, as did papers as far-flung from the New York Sun to the London Times. He had mentioned that his idea of fighting a war was to attack, and then attack again. By the war's end, Bazooka Charlie had destroyed 6 German tanks. He also had participated in several ground fights. He'd land the airplane on the battlefield, grab his rifle, and join in with the ground troops. He also won a Silver Star, an Air Medal, and was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel. Now, according to whatever source that you look at, by the end of the war, Bazooka Charlie Carpenter had destroyed several German armored cars and immobilized at least 14 German tanks. He would be credited officially with taking out 2 Tiger I tanks from a total of 6 destroyed. He also participated in several combat actions. He was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel, awarded the Bronze Star, the Air Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster, and the Silver Star with the Oak Leaf Cluster. So just because you had a small airplane back then, it did not mean that you weren't effective. Now our pilots today, Eric Verdilla, him and his wife, Lexi, they've started a non-profit called Wings of War, and they're in the middle of trying to get a UC-50, a Bamboo bomber, in the air right now. Tom McIntyre, he's the owner of the airplane out there. It's actually a converted glider called a TG-6. The engine was added after the war. That's the second airplane out there. Joe Malinchak, he's a new captain at American Airlines on the Airbus A320, 25,000 hours of flying time.